So now we're gonna talk about the interior of this car, of the C350 2013. This is the AMG package. So of course, it has a bit of a different interior. For example, the seats, it's a bit racing seats, you know, that's way better if you're going on speed turns and stuff. Okay, so we're gonna take a ride in the car. Just to show you a bit around. This car has more than one mode. It has an economic mode, it got a sport mode, and it got a manual mode. It got seven gears. It's a well-made German engine. It's just so perfect. You know, you can use it for sports. You can use it to speed a bit. You can use it as like a family car. It's good for everything. It got 4 seats. It's a very good car in the end. In the end, it's a Benz. So I personally, to be honest, I personally prefer Japanese GDM cars, you know, for example, Supras and stuff. I'm not a big fan of the German cars, you know, that you very luxury and stuff. I prefer old school, to be very honest with you. So, got a simple tune to it. When you put it on the sport mode, you can hear the engine revs. You got it. You got a quite good sound of the engine. When you put it on the sport mode, you can hear it. You know, you can downshift, and then you can speed. The gears of the Benz, it's one of the best thing in the German cars. The gears have a lot of flow. Like for example, you can go 160 in the third gear. You can reach 180 in the third gear. It's like, you know, what happened to the other 7? We got the shifters over here. And in a bit, so we're gonna talk about the option this car has. This car has a GPS, you know, it's very connected with Benz itself, because Benz has a worldwide network, something that you can use. Like for example, if you need any kind of emergency, you can use it, any kind of emergency. But unfortunately in the Middle East, you can't really use it, because it's not here. It's worldwide, but it's not in the Middle East. So, this car has a 303 HP. It got way more than the newest one. The newest model got around 276 HP. And I prefer this car personally. You know, the interior is way simpler. It's better, because you know the new one has kind of an iPad over here and stuff. I really prefer it, to be honest.
So I'm going on a ride in my car. It's Mercedes C300, 2017 model. Drives pretty well. It's a fun car to drive. It doesn't go too fast, but it goes fast enough. The acceleration is good. It gives you the crack and, you know, pops when you switch gears. It has 5 modes. It has the Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and the Individual. I usually put it on Eco when I'm going on a long ride and I don't feel like wasting a lot of fuel, and I want it to be comfortable. And when I'm hanging out with the guys or it's a weekend, put it on Sport Plus. There's enough space in the car for everything. Got 2 seats in the back, 2 seats in the front. Seats in the back are large enough to put 2 of my friends or one of my dogs, which I have right now in the back with me. His name is Arnie. It's a nice car to drive, you know. There's not much to complain about. It's very reliable. You can drive it all around the year, and you know, in the summer, in the winter, when it's really hot, when it's raining. A lot of people criticize the car, saying it's an old version's car, but I don't think so. Personally, I don't. My girlfriend doesn't think so. It's a pretty car. It's not as cool as the C63, but at the same time it's a lot cooler than the E-Class. It's a lot lighter. You don't really get that feeling where the car is doing everything for you. And doesn't really burn a lot of fuel given its 4-cylinder twin turbo engine. So I don't see the gas station a lot, which is really good, especially for a young person like me who isn't really, who doesn't really have a lot of money. The annoying thing about this car is the auto on and off, because it automatically turns on whenever you turn off and on the car. So when I stop at a traffic light or something, the car turns off for me, which, given that I'm from a country where there's a lot of traffic, can be pretty irritating after a while. The trunk opens automatically. I have the controls right there next to me. Got the radio, I got Bluetooth, navigation.
2 hours later.
So pretty much everything you'd want from a car. Can't really think of anything to complain about.
The Mercedes C350,
This is
2014. What about that?
This is a Mercedes 300. It's a 2017 model, still new.
Yeah, so this is the V6 and that's the V4 twin turbo. Which one do you prefer, man?
Well, I actually prefer my car. It has, it doesn't use a lot of fuel and it has more of a oomph feeling, to it once the turbos kick in.
Yeah, it's good for the gasoline, but man, come on. I still prefer the V6.
Well, there's not really that much of a difference.
It's
now.
more reliable. Good to drive around and stuff. The turbo, you have some turbo lags and stuff. But in terms of gasoline, no, you win.
Yeah, especially when I keep it on eco mode, I can just go on forever without passing by any fuel station.
Yeah, but still, Mercedes Benz has an eco mode, even in the V6 or even in the V8. But of course, there's a difference between the gasoline.
You can't really compare the mileage I get with
the
mileage you get.
Okay, so how many HP does that have?
I have 241 horsepower in my car.
Interesting. This car has a 303 HP, but on the road, surprisingly, they're almost the same power.
Yeah, we've tried racing them a few times. You're just almost a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's almost the same power. But be honest, so what do you think of Mercedes-Benz as for like a teenager to drive around?
I think it's a pretty nice car. You don't really have much to worry about with it now, do you?
I think it's a very boring car.
It can be fun. Like, okay, fine, our cars aren't the most fun, but like, what about the C63? It has a big V8 AMG engine, and it's very loud, it's very fast, and it's pretty scary on the road.
And it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, but it's worth the price. It's not like, you're just paying for the engine. You're paying for the engine and the luxury of the car.
It's pretty expensive. If you want to have a car to drive around and drift and have some fun and race and stuff, most of the time you don't want to cry when you have to fix your car.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Mercedes, it's a very reliable car. You will not have to fix it. It can go on forever without ever seeing the garage.
Not really. It's a good car, but most likely you're going to be afraid to drift with it. So yeah. Mercedes Benz, you know, if you're like around 23, 24 and you want to have a car to drive around and have some fun, these are not the cars. It's very boring cars to drive. It's comfortable, right? What do you think of?
It's comfort.
Yeah, it's comfort.
There's
and
no
it's
comparing
options.
to it. Like, the car does everything for you. It parks itself. Okay, the seats have 7-way movement. You can move them up, down, and to all directions. The electronics inside it are amazing. So you can't really compare it with any other car, like, unless you want to pay crazy money and go for a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. But otherwise, this is an affordable luxury car.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's too comfortable for people my age, like around the 20s, even the 30s, man. It's too comfortable for us. I prefer driving an American car, Japanese car, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the American cars, you can't really trust those cars, especially with Mustangs. We've seen all those videos on the internet, and we've seen how they go crash into people, into walls, and into a lot of other things.
Yeah, Mustang owners, you pretty much screwed it for you.
Sorry, nobody wants you guys.
It's not about that. There's the classic Mustangs are amazing, but in terms of what we can see in the internet, you seriously screwed it up.
The car needs a really good driver. It's not for anybody.
It's not about that. Never mind.
And the Japanese cars,
What?
like, come on, it's just an engine, a chassis, and and 4 tires. You get nothing else.
Seriously, if you're gonna drift with a car, you're gonna choose this car or a Japanese car, man.
Fine, and drift-wise and
win.
racing and whatever, you take a Japanese car. But
win.
it's not a car that you're gonna enjoy driving every day of your life. It's something you're gonna enjoy for a few weeks or over a couple of weekends. But other than that, it gets
Seriously?
pretty boring after a while.
Nah, man, driving a Japanese or American car is really fun and way cheaper. It's like you're gonna buy some rims and exhaust system. You can buy a whole 350 to drift with and enjoy around. Damn, man, German cars are really pricey.
Yeah, you can. It's fine. Yeah, the German cars are more expensive, but in performance-wise and in handling, especially in handling, like on the track, no other country has cars that can compete with the Germans.
Viper Gen 5 ACR is the best car on the track.
They're for a drag race, maybe, yes.
No, for actually a track, not drag race.
Mm.
It's a V10 American muscle car.
Yeah, but then you bring in the Audi R8 and the Porsche 911.
But still, it beat them, man. The Viper beat them. Ha.
Not really.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right
The
now-
German cars has a lot of like improvements through the years, and they were really good back in the days. Especially now, at the moment, like for example, the new Supra has a German engine. Did you know that? The new Supra has a German engine.
Of course it does.
No more 2JZ.
Of course it does. They learned their lesson. They knew that their Japanese engines are not enough.
Man, no. German cars are good for old ass people.
Speaking of German, here we see a very nice Porsche passing by. Look at it. Like, can you really compare that
Okay, that's
to a Mustang?
Man,
or
that's
to
the
a Viper?
GT3.
That's a GT3.
That's the GT3. We're talking about like the average German cars. Okay, these cars are awesome for the track and likewise, but you can't even drift with this car. And you feel like you're gonna be like, it's so hard for you to even race with this car.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like it's pricey and it's so damn good, but
Hey,
it's not for fun.
If you can afford it, why not get it?
If you can afford it and you wanna, like, even if you can afford it, it's this piece of art. You don't want to screw it up.
If I had the money, I would rather get a GT3 or a GT2 Porsche over a Viper.
I would get a Viper. It's a badass car, man. I would totally get a Viper.
Well, to each their own then.
Man, it's a V10 and this other Porsche. A lot of Porsches here today. So, I personally prefer the V6.
I think the V4 with the turbos is a better option. You get the same, almost the same performance with a lot less mileage. And you know, And for our European and American viewers, they pay a lot less tax once they have a V4 engine.
Well, it's true. In that term, I agree with you. Okay. You win. In terms of the engines, you win. But in terms of cars, of the looks, what do you think?
Well, if we're comparing the C350, the 2014 model, and the C300, the 2017 model, I think we'll have to go with the newer one.
We're gonna talk about the outside and the inside material as well. I prefer the C300 in one condition. The face looks amazing, man.
Yeah, you have to appreciate the diamond design grille on it. It is
It's amazing.
a work of art.
It's a work of art. I agree with that. In terms of the ass, no, man. The C350 wins.
Why? What makes you say so?
From the back, like the newest C300, it looks like a Honda, man.
Yeah, it is a bit small from
Like-
the back.
That's a Honda Accord, man. That's so. Sorry for Honda fans, but you know it's Mercedes and Honda. There's a big difference.
Yeah, it is kind of small, very round. It's not the nicest car to look at from behind, you know, but hey, it doesn't really matter when you have a car that runs as smoothly and is as, you know, comfortable as this.
What about the inside options, man? We don't want to bore you out, like guys. But what about the inside options? The inside options is amazing in the newest model, and it's amazing in the oldest model. But in the oldest model, it's more easy, you know, to use around, and I prefer it. But in the newest model, there's a lot of options, a lot of amazing options. The speakers, everything.
Yeah, and the newer model, you have more space for your arms and everything, since they removed the gearbox from where it's usually placed right next to your armrest to the more old design behind the steering wheel, which is becoming new fashion for most new cars.
But about like the gears and behind the steering wheel, it's
Yeah.
not a pickup, man. It's not a pickup, man. Like seriously.
Yeah, but it's becoming the new sort of fashion
It's
for
not
cars.
a Mercedes Benz. What are you doing?
It's leading, you know, it's showing other car makers what to do.
You're screwing it up. Well, they're not showing anything.
Yeah,
what to
but you
do.
get a lot more space to put all your stuff there, don't you?
Okay, but you know, changing gears here is like you're driving an old ass 350.
Well, they made it in a more luxurious way. It's very mechanical, very computerized, you know. There's a button and you don't really need to move much. It's not like the old pickups where it starts, you know,
I would
making
get it.
noises.
That's cool. I would get a Mercedes Benz if I was around 45, 55. Then I'm gonna get the Mercedes Benz because it's a very.
Yeah, something we can both agree on. It's a little bit of an old man's car.
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, we conclude this by saying that we agree on some things and disagree on others about most cars in general.
Yeah, but if you're in your 20s, let's talk about like general German cars. If you're in your 20s, you can either get a Porsche. If you have like the money to buy it, you can get a Porsche to have some fun with it, or an Empower or an AMG. But I personally prefer American or Japanese cars.
To each their own. That's your style, and other people prefer different things.
Of course, man, but you know. Okay.
If you're into comfort, I think European car is more your suit. If you're into, you know, more adrenaline, more rough driving, then definitely go for the American or the Japanese cars.
If you're a badass, go for American or Japanese cars.
Thank you for watching our video. We'll be posting new ones soon.
See you soon. The next episode is gonna be amazing and very interesting.
Don't forget to subscribe
Subscribe, like,
and share our videos.
have a good day.